Hello and welcome back to another episode here on the Cosmere SMP. In this episode today we are going to be looking at the Allomancy mod. So before I get started, just wanted to quickly address some of the changes that have happened around here in case you're interested. I really haven't done too much. I haven't done anything with the storage, just expanded it a bit. I am planning on building something up on top of the hill that's going to be my main base. I've put this starlight water stream in, and I've also filled in the entire cove with starlight. I've also learned how to fly. Can't do it for too long because if you look down at my experience bar, you see that it's kind of ticking down a little bit. One of the things with kind of later game Astral Sorcery is that you can get this Mantle of the Stars, which you can use to do a variety of things. The choice I made was to make it let me fly. So Alamancy. The Alamancy mod, if we do a quick search, isn't that big of a mod. You can see here there are a couple of smaller items. It really just adds a lot of ores into the game. And for those of you who are not familiar with Mistborn, the whole idea behind Allomancy is that there are 16 metals, some of which are pure metals like iron or tin, some of which are alloys of other metals, and each of these metals gives you one of 16 different abilities. They are grouped up. The groupings are the 4 in the top left here: iron, steel, tin, and pewter. Those are physical metals. Then zinc, brass, copper, and bronze are mental. Aluminum, duralumin, chromium, and nitrosyl, those are, I believe, called enhancement metals. And then we have gold, electrum, cadmium, and bendalloy are the temporal metals. If you have read the first 3 books of Mistborn, you're probably only familiar with the top half of this wheel. If you've read Era 2 of Mistborn or the Alloy of Law books, then they get into the metals down at the bottom. So to start off the game, you are what's called a misting, which means that you have access to one of these abilities. I am a tin misting, which means that I can turn on tin, and it gives me night vision. So if I turn off my tin, no night vision. Turn on tin, I get night vision. There are other things that you get with it. For instance, if I had any mobs near me, you can see some particle effects that show you where the mobs are. So it's kind of useful if you're caving and you keep hearing groans from zombies. You can use tin to figure out where they are. So I'm actually quite happy with the fact that I was a tin eye misting. But if you want to become anything more than just a misting, what you're going to need to find is a Lerasium nugget. You could craft it with a nether star and a block of gold. However, getting a nether star is very difficult and dangerous. Or you could look for it in end cities, dungeon spawners, the chest and dungeon spawners, desert temples, jungle temples, or woodland mansions. I have been looking for it in desert temples because I've always had a pretty good luck finding things in desert temples. So I've actually got 4 nuggets. You really only need 1, but if you're playing on a server, you can share it with other people. So I actually have been saving this for about a week now. To use it, you just right click and you eat it and you become a Mistborn. This means that if I hold V, now each one of these I have access to. You can also see in the top left there are those little vials that represent how much of the metal you have consumed. And yeah, so it shows you how much of each metal you've consumed. It's kind of hard to tell which metal is which, but from what I can tell, it starts here with steel, or I'm sorry, with iron, pointing at iron, saying steel, and it goes around the wheel clockwise. So it starts with iron, then steel, then tin, then pewter, zinc, brass. In order to consume the metals, what you need is an allomantic vial, which is made just like that, very similar to a bottle. And you will also need a hand grinder. The hand grinder is what you use to turn a metal into the flakes of metal, which you then combine with the vial to make the allomantic vial full of metals. You can do just one metal in the allomantic vial, like I had with my tin, or you can have multiple metals. You'll see here that I have actually gone ahead and ground down a whole bunch of flakes for pretty much every single metal, I think. Did I do tin in here? I might need to make more tin because oh no, it should be fine. Yeah. So to combine them, it's a little obnoxious to do it, like it doesn't really show up in the JEI, but what you can do is just put the vial in, shift-click it into the crafting table, and then just shift-click all of these metals in, shift-click it out, shift-click it out, and then you can do the next batch. Got to do it a little differently because I had some that were just tin. Okay, so this one has 15 metals, everything except tin, because I consumed the tin not too long ago. This one has all 16, and then this one is missing one of the metals that I just didn't have enough of. So as I consume this, you can see the bar in the top left is going up, and up, and up, and up, and up. So now I have 10 empty vials and 18 completely full vials. So I'm going to, there we go. I'm going to put those empty and almost empty vials in there. And then we're going to spend some time talking about each of the abilities. So I'll turn off my tin. Some of them are, if I remember correctly, each set of 4 has 2 internal metals, so things that affect you, the character, inside, and then 2 external metals, things that affect the world around you. In addition, of those 2, one of them is referred to as a pulling metal, and one of them is referred to as a pushing metal. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and sleep the night away. And then we're going to go ahead and play around with some of them. I am not terribly familiar with all of the, I'll be honest, I'm not like the biggest Mistborn aficionado, so I do have to look things up on occasion for how to do certain things. I need that, and I need that. So the first thing I'm going to do is craft a coin pouch. In order to do that, I need a lead. So the coin pouch, how do I do this? Do I just have to combine it in here? Could have sworn there was some, oh, wait. Hold on, let me try steel. There we go. Okay, so now I know what that is. Let me put things away and get out my nuggets again. So steel and iron are very similar. When you burn these or activate them, you see these blue lines. Those lines point to where there are metals or metallic things in the world. When you left click, you pull forward with iron, and when you right click, you get pushed back. Now, depending on the size of the metallic thing, you will either get pushed or pulled, or it will get pushed or pulled. So for instance, if I use this nugget, I can push it away or pull it back towards me. That's where the coin bag comes in. You can use it to shoot nuggets, gold nuggets around, if I remember correctly, but I might be wrong. I believe they will actually deal some damage, so let's go find a pig. I can't aim. Yep. So they are damaging. It looks like using it as a weapon actually consumes the nugget. So that's interesting. Keeps it from being a little too overpowered. But you know, these blue lines can get a little annoying, but they are useful for like if you're mining and you're trying to find some ores, it can be pretty useful early game. Making steel, the way to make steel in Allomancy is honestly not the best way to make steel. So that's another thing. You can use the effect to kind of launch yourself around. It would be better if I had like a block of iron nearby, but I don't. You can also craft these iron buttons and iron levers. They are expensive, but it allows you to make a redstone machine that is only activated by someone who can use iron or steel. So that's iron and steel. I've already talked about tin. Pewter. Pewter is very similar to tin in that it is a passive metal. When you burn pewter, you are enhancing your physical abilities. So you'll see here I can jump up higher. I also can run faster. It's kind of hard to tell that I'm running faster because of Astral Sorcery. I've been using a lot of perks to make me run faster. I believe it also gives you strength. Oh, it gives you haste. So it gives you speed, jump boost, and haste. So you can mine things faster, you can run faster, all of that. Then we come to the mental metals. So zinc and brass, these are the emotional metals. They affect how other mobs react to you. One of them will anger other mobs, the other one will soothe mobs. So I'm running over here to go to the village because that's actually one of the more useful methods of using zinc and brass. You can use... So villagers have the trading mechanic where what their opinion is of you changes how expensive things are. So right now, 7 emeralds will get me an empty map. If I burn, let's burn brass. So I'm using brass on him. I think I am. Okay, that was just me punching him. But let me try again. Okay, there we go. So if I continue to right-click him, I should eventually get better trades. Essentially, I'm using brass to make him happier with me. I can also do the reverse, and I can instead burn zinc, and I can use it to make him really pissed at me, and so I can anger him. So he's not happy with me. But I can keep using zinc to maybe make him hate me less and less and less. You know, it's not the most useful metal. I do like using brass if I'm out at night. I can, let me just piss off the cow, come get me, and then soothe it. So I can use brass to soothe hostile mobs and they won't come after me. The other two mental metals, copper and bronze, they're really only useful when you're on a server. So copper, what it will do is it will mask your Allomancy. It will hide you from other Allomancers, because bronze can be used to sense where other Allomancers are. And I really can't show this without someone else on the server burning metals. So I don't really know what the effects of these two look like, but that's what they do. Aluminum and duralumin. Aluminum it is a relatively useless metal. It's pretty useless. What it will do is when you consume aluminum, it burns through every single metal in your supply. So I'm going to do that one last. And duralumin, I always forget what duralumin does, so I got to look it up. So duralumin in Mistborn enhances other metals that you have. So if I were to be burning tin and then duralumin, okay. Apparently I did that wrong. But what you can see if you look in my reserves up at the top, I've completely burned through my tin and burned through my duralumin. So let me give myself a little bit more. Let me try burning pewter and duralumin. Okay, so burning pewter and duralumin makes you really strong, makes me jump really high. If I had caught it, it probably would have shown that I had jump boost like 4 or something like that. So duralumin enhances what metal you're burning. Chromium and nigrosyl, they are very similar to aluminum and duralumin, except they affect other players. So one of them will wipe out all of the metals that another player is using, and then the other one will actually enhance all of the metals that the other player is using. So let me just make sure that I've got that right. So nigrosyl enhances another player, and then chromium wipes another player's reserves. So they're interesting, but they're not the most useful. Gold and electrum. I have never really used gold. Okay, so gold will show you where your last death was. It's kind of useless on this server. And then electrum will show you where your spawn point is. So it will give you a line that shows you how to get to whichever bed you're currently linked to. And then cadmium and bendalloy. Cadmium will slow down time. So you'll see that the chicken is moving much slower. Here he is moving normally. There he is moving slowly, normally. And then bendalloy will speed up time. So he moves a lot quicker. One of the interesting things with bendalloy is you can actually use it with crops to make them grow faster. So if you really need crops to grow faster, you can always burn duralumin, or not duralumin, bendalloy nearby a crop, and it will grow a little bit quicker. So you can essentially turn yourself into a crop farm. So it's just a little interesting. It doesn't last too long. You can see my reserve in the top left is actually ticking down relatively quickly. I'm already at halfway. But that's it for all of the metals except for aluminum. So aluminum, as I mentioned, will wipe out all of your allomantic reserves. So if I burn aluminum, I'm just completely reset. They're all empty. It's relatively useless. However, it is interesting that it also affects potion effects. So what might be useful is to have a few vials that only have aluminum in them. So that if you're hunting wither skeletons or you're fighting the wither, if you ever get withered, you can actually wipe out the wither effect. Or if you're in a abandoned mineshaft and you get poisoned, you can wipe out the poison before you die. So that's about it for this mod. There are a few other items: the Mist Cloak, Kolos Blade, and Obsidian Dagger. I haven't found anything too interesting about them. The Kolos Blade, I'm pretty sure you can only use it when you're burning pewter. So, there's a downside to that. I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to be using Allomancy very often. I'll probably keep some vials of tin on me, maybe some vials of brass, and maybe some pewter, but that's probably going to be it as far as what I would consider to be terribly useful. Steel and iron, they're interesting. Maybe if I wanted to have like a secret base kind of thing, I would use iron or steel to have a button that's not even visible, so a button on the other side of a wall that I can use to activate a hidden door. But I think that'd probably be it as far as what I would use the Allomancy mod for. It's a very interesting magic system in the books, but it didn't really translate to a very terribly interesting mod pack. So, if you've got questions about how the Alamancy mod works, just feel free to leave them in the comments below. I will also continue to link the information for how to join the server if you're interested, and I hope to